Have you ever sent money to someone and then later realized you'd rather pay it in smaller amounts? Maybe it was a bigger payment than expected, or something you didn't plan for. Normally, once you send money, that's it. But now Cash App is testing a feature that changes that. It's called Pay Over Time for P2P, and it lets you take a recent payment and split it into weekly installments. Let's start with what this actually means. Instead of sending money once and being done, you can convert that payment into a short-term plan. So here's what happens. You send money to someone, then later, if the payment is eligible, you'll see an option to use Pay Over Time. When you activate it, the amount you sent gets returned to your Cash App balance. And instead of one full payment, you now repay it in smaller weekly installments. Now, before you get too excited, this feature is not available for everyone. It's currently being rolled out to selected users. So if you don't see it in your app, that's completely normal. Cash App often tests features like this with limited access first. Next, let's talk about which payments actually work, because this is very important. Not every payment qualifies. There are a few key conditions. First, the payment must be recent, usually within the last 30 days. Second, there's a minimum amount, typically around $25 or more. And third, the payment has to be marked as eligible inside the app. So if you're looking at an older transfer or a smaller amount, you probably won't see the option. Now let's walk through the process step by step. Open Cash App. Go to your activity or transaction history. Find a recent payment you sent. Tap on it to open the details. If it qualifies, you'll see an option like Pay Over Time. Tap that. Now you'll be guided through the setup. Before you confirm anything, Cash App will show you the full breakdown. This includes your weekly payment amount, the total repayment, and any fees. Take a moment to read this carefully, because this is where you understand the real cost. Once you confirm, the system activates. The original payment amount is returned to your balance, and your repayment schedule begins. From that point on, you'll be charged weekly installments until the full amount is paid. Now let's talk about the fee. This is one of the most important parts. Pay Over Time is not completely free. There is an upfront fee added to the plan. That means you'll end up paying slightly more than the original amount. So while this feature gives you flexibility, it also increases the total cost. That's why it's important to ask yourself, do I really need to split this payment? Or can I afford it as a one-time transfer? Because convenience sometimes comes with a trade-off. Now, who is this feature actually useful for? It can help if you sent a larger payment than expected, you want to manage your cash flow better, or you need short-term flexibility. Instead of one big expense, you spread it out over time. But it's not ideal for everyone. You should be careful if you already have multiple payments running, you're trying to avoid extra fees, or you're not sure about future repayments, because missing payments can create more problems. Another important thing to remember, this feature only applies to recent P2P payments, so you can't use it for old transfers, every transaction, or payments that aren't eligible. If the option doesn't appear, it simply means that payment doesn't qualify. Here's a simple tip. If you plan to use this feature, check the details before confirming. Look at the weekly amount, the total cost, and the timeline. Make sure it fits your situation. At the end of the day, this is a flexible feature, but it's still a form of short-term borrowing. Used correctly, it can help you manage payments. Used carelessly, it can cost you more than expected. So the best approach is simple. Use it when you need flexibility, but always stay aware of the cost. If you see this feature in your Cash app, try it carefully. And if you want more simple guides about apps, payments, and tech features, follow for more practical tips.